and welcome back. My name is Yiannis, and if you haven't seen the first episode of Mind the Game, make sure you click here so you can have a good foundation to jump into this episode. This episode is all about psychology and trading, but not boring old psychology. We're going to be rewiring your nervous system. In episode 1, we discussed everything about the map and the information that we can receive in the trading world and how we can derive that information and how we can change it to make meaning from that information. Today, we're going to go one step deeper. We're going to break down how you perceive information from the trading markets, from the charts. How does your brain understand all that information? And are you potentially holding yourself back because you don't know what is your preferred system of learning? Make sure you like and subscribe, put your notification button on so you don't miss the next video that comes out from this playlist. VAK. It's one of the most powerful concepts in neurolinguistic programming, or else called NLP, and almost nobody in the trading world talks about it. By the end of today, you're going to understand yourself as a trader at a level that most people never do. So let's quickly recap from last week because it sets the foundation for today. We established that your brain doesn't experience the market directly. It builds a map of it. The map is not the market. It's your personal construction of it. Imagine of it like you filter through your neurology, your experiences, and your beliefs of the past. Today's question is, what is actually doing that filtering? What is building that map? The answer is your preferred representational system. That's what a VAK is, and we're going to see why that matters to your trading. Here's something that changes how you look at everything. Your brain does not work like a camera. It doesn't record what's in front of it. It builds a version of it. Actively, every time you look at a chart, your brain is constructing what you see based on your wiring, your filters, and your past experience. That is why two traders, same charts, same candles, they are not seeing the same information. They're both looking at what they have constructed differently. This is not a metaphor. This is neuroscience. Your brain is literally deciding what to show in front of your screens. So an NLP identifies 3 primary channels that your brain uses to construct information or create reality. We've got the visual images, patterns, and structure. Auditory is all about sound language, your internal voice. That guy that always comes back in bad trades, like, why did I do that? That is actually an auditory. Kinesthetic. Feelings, sensations, intuitions. We all have all 3 of them, but one of them is your default. The channel your brain reaches for first, the one that shapes your experience of the market more than others. You probably already have a sense of which one that is. So let's start with the primary visual. You think in pictures. The chart is the market you see right in front of you. You process it through images and patterns. You can look at a setup and immediately recognize that structure. You use language like, I can see it clearly. The structure is clean. I can picture how this plays out. Your strength is in pattern recognition. You're fast and decisive when the picture is clear. Your blind spot, however, you miss things that don't appear on the chart in front of you. That's a fundamental shift. Your own emotional state, and you can overtrade when the picture looks perfect, but the other factors don't support it. Now let's move on to auditory. If you're primarily auditory, you process everything through language and sound. Your internal voice is very loud. You're always narrating the market to yourself. News, commentary, social media, these hit you harder because you're wired to process through language. Phrases like, oh, that sounds right. Or things like, oh, this narrative doesn't add up. Or things like, I need to talk this through. The strengths of auditory is the rule building, macro awareness, high self-awareness. Blind spots, however, you can be talked into things or out of trades by external noise or your own negative internal voice. And you can overthink entries, talking yourself out of valid setups because the narrative doesn't feel clean enough. And finally, we've got kinesthetic. You process through feelings and physical sensations. You have a powerful gut instinct. You can feel when the market is wrong before you can actually articulate why. Language like, this doesn't feel great. I don't think I'm going to take this trade. I felt it turning before it actually happened. My body told me to get out. The strength of the kinesthetic is the intuition built from experience, very strong state awareness, an early warning system for risk. When something doesn't feel right, you can feel it. The blind spot, however, emotional states can drive your decisions. Fear, excitement, frustrations. Your body amplifies those and they can override your logic. Rules feel restrictive because your body often knows before your mind does. A gift when your experience is solid, but a liability if you're really early into your trading career. So here's something that nobody in trading industry talks about. Almost all of the education that exists, the books, the courses, and the different YouTube channels, is built primarily for visual learners. Chart patterns, candlesticks formations, support and resistance, technical analysis. There are all visual frameworks built for visual processors. If you're not primary visual, if you're auditory or kinesthetic, you've been studying from a textbook that wasn't written for your brain. You've been trying to trade a system built for a different mind, and you've been wondering why it doesn't feel natural or why I don't understand things. Well, now you know. Every second, your senses delivers over 11 million bits of information of your brain. 11 million. Your conscious mind can process roughly about 40 bits out of those 11 million. Everything else is filtered below the level of your awareness. The mechanism doing the filtering is your dominant representational system. It decides what makes it through. So what you notice on that chart, the patterns, the setups, the signals, it's not the market. It's the 40 bits your system selected specifically for you out of those 11 million possibilities. This is why two traders look at the same moment and see completely different things. They're both right about what they see and their reality. They're just seeing different bits of that information. So stop and honestly ask yourself, which one of this is most like you? When you're at your best as a trader, in flow, when everything is working, which channel is leading? Are you seeing it on the charts, or are you hearing clear internal narrative? This sounds like a great idea kind of thing. Or are you feeling a physical certainty in your body? There's usually one that resonates more strongly. That's your dominant system. Don't judge it. Don't try to change it. It doesn't mean that because you're visual, you're better than others, or if because you're auditory, you're worse than others. We're going to work on all of them. The goal is to know it so well you can use it deliberately and then develop the other two alongside it. Here's the paradox at the heart of it. Your dominant system is simultaneously your greatest edge, but it can be your biggest blind spot. The exact same wiring that makes you see patterns faster than anyone else in the room, it can also make you blind to things that aren't visual. The same internal voice that helps you build solid trading rules, it can also talk you out of great trades when the noise gets loud. Both things are true at the same time. Same system. Two sides. The goal is not to get rid of your dominant system, it's your edge, right? So the goal is to know it so well that you can deploy it deliberately and build a protection against those blind spots when they appear. Now, let me show you what this looks like in real life. 3 traders, 1 chart. Same candles, same price action, same momentum, same moments. The visual trader sees the structure, right? So higher high forming, resistance is obvious, clean textbook entry. The auditory guy, though, is processing through their internal voice. News this morning was bearish. The narrative feels off. Wait for more confirmation, might be the answer. The kinesthetic trader has a feeling. Something in the momentum doesn't feel right here. The choppiness, everything is saying not now. 3 completely different experiences of the exact same moment. None of them is necessarily wrong, but you're not trading the market. You're trading the construction of your reality of what's happening in the market. The highest quality trades happen when all 3 systems agree. When you can see it clearly on the chart and the narrative makes sense and your internal voice is also calm and your body feels settled and ready, the alignment is rare. But when it's there, you know it. Every part of you is saying yes. That's when you can trade with full conviction. V, A, and K all pointing in the same direction. I call it the alignment. When you feel it, you recognize it. It's very different from just seeing a pattern. It's different from just liking the story. It's all 3 at once. And this is where you have to learn to wait for it. Okay, so this is what practically we need to understand for today. 3 questions before every single entry. What am I currently seeing in the market? What does my internal voice say about that market? How does my body feel? And what does my internal voice say for it? That's it. If you're visual, adding the auditory and the kinesthetic questions is the discipline. They won't come naturally. You have to build them in deliberately. If you're more auditory, the chart must support what your voice is saying. The structure validates the narrative. If you're more kinesthetic, your body state is a filter. If you're not in the right state, you don't trade. 30 seconds every entry. Do this for 30 days, and I promise you, you will see a massive shift in your trading. So when you trade against your natural system, it creates what I call a mental friction. Every decision costs more energy than it should. You second guess more, you override signals you don't fully trust, and by the end of it, you're super exhausted, not from the markets, but from fighting yourself. And that friction compounds. It doesn't show up immediately in your P&L. It shows up in your consistency, in your ability to follow your rules, in how you perform under pressure. And consistency is the only thing that separates a profitable trader from an unprofitable trader. 1 over a large sample. Most traders try to fix the consistency by changing their strategy, when the real problem is the mismatch between their strategy and what the mind is doing. So a simple 30-day plan to start working with this. Weeks 1 and 2, identify. After every trade, write this down. Which system drove the decision? Was it visual? Was it auditory? Or was it kinesthetic? No judgment, just honest data. After 14 days, you will see your dominant system clearly in the numbers. Now, for week 3, I have this challenge for you. Take 1 trade per session where you deliberately lead with your least used system. It will feel uncomfortable in the beginning. That discomfort is your brain building new pathways. Week 4, we're going to integrate everything. Use the 3 questions checklist before every single entry. Build it as a habit until it's automatic. 30 days, that's all I'm asking for you, and you will see massive shifts into your trading. So what did we learn today? Here are the 4 things that we learned today. Your brain doesn't record the market. It builds a version of it. 2, it builds the version through 3 channels: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. 3, your dominant system is both your edge and your blind spot at the same time. And 4, the highest quality trades happen when visual, auditory, and kinesthetic are all aligned. That's the goal. Now, in episode 3, we're going to be going deep on state, the emotional and physical conditions you're in when you're actually trading live. Because here's the truth, even with perfect VAK alignment means nothing if your state is off. State is the most important variable no one in trading talks about. I know there's a lot of science in there and a lot of long words, but trust me, if you held on and you're here, I know you're 1 step closer to making it. NLP was the one skill that I learned the best that took me from 0 to getting more than 30,000 payouts from the fivers and then developing my skill set to become financial free through trading. Trust me now when I tell you, when the new information that you're learning is hard and difficult in the beginning, but then something clicks, that's the information that you need to become a better trader today. Rewatch this video if you didn't understand one bit. Go back to the first one to understand that completely. And then when we go now to the state management, which is one of the most crucial skills to learn when it comes to trading execution, you will be very prepared and you will put the best foundations there for you to succeed. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like, and put the bell button on because the next episode is going to be dropping very, very soon and you want to hear about it.